Guru team, welcome back to Transport Fever 2. Right, it's nearly 1900. It's 1897 in fact. And what's happening and how are we doing? Well, here we are. Look, this is Calto. So the train route outside Calto, we've now got two trains running on. I ended up, where are you, second train? I ended up adding some box cars to the second train, which I think is this one here. Yeah, it's only got 6 cars. So he can also carry food. Because we were obviously increasing the amount of raw product that were coming in here, we're getting more product out. We're now at 38 out of 100, so we still haven't hit enough to start pushing this processing plant towards increasing a level, which is amazing, really. I mean, it must take a heck of a lot. So I'm still working on that. So as money becomes available, I am still increasing this. But we'll look at our finances as part of our state of everything for the beginning of the episode in a little bit of a minute. So there we are. Possibly the most interesting thing on Calto is I have replaced the stage coaches with these. Where are they? These little horseless stage coaches. These little steam powered wagons. They're essentially cars, right? So there's these little steam-powered wagons that we've now got that are powered, driving around and everything else, which is all great. They go a little bit quicker than horses. They carry slightly more people, and hopefully make us a bit more money. So that's what's happening at Calto. If we go over to Calprezzo or Caprezzo, so we now have 2 trains running on Caprezzo. Because this is a loop that effectively is one way, I don't need a passing track on this because the trains aren't going to pass each other. As you can see, one's here and one's over there. They're kind of doesn't quite work out as opposites, but they're kind of opposite each other. When I started them, I balanced them so they were opposite each other. If they catch up to each other, I'll just stop one and expand the distance and then let them go again. So they're not just following each other around. Not that it would really matter. It's not important. There's enough rocks here to keep them going, and there's very definitely enough bricks here to keep them going. And they both have raw and finished product wagons. This is the slightly smaller one, but they're almost exactly the same size, I think now. Or are they the same size? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, they're the same size. So they're doing okay too, and Caprezzo has the little steam stagecoaches floating around somewhere. There's one at the stop over there, so that's the same, so just replace those. But we have now added a third line here. So this was a little bit more complicated, convoluted, and generally a pain in the butt. And look, by no means am I suggesting this is the perfect train line. I had to build it in sections over several years, just as money became available. So rather than just wait and have, a massive amount of money, I did build it over several years. So it's still very much a work in progress. So it hasn't been balanced correctly yet. There's only 2 trains on it, which doesn't make it super efficient. I am going to have to put passing lanes and have a think about how I manage the delivery of this one, especially at the top. We'll have a look at that in a minute. So we've got logs, which is coming up here and connecting to the timber plant. We've got timber, which is coming down here to the tools plant, and we've got tools, which is coming down here to Nosferatu. The interesting thing was I had to add another shed because although this line here is actually connected and it's connected here, and although a train could travel up this line to here and come down and travel down this line to here, when you start with the train here, it doesn't know how to get over here. I think the distance is too far, and I can't tell it. It doesn't No amount of common sense or explanation to the driver helped him understand that all he had to do was drive up to the timber plant and turn around at the timber plant and come back this way. He just didn't get it. It wasn't on his radar that day, so I had to build a plant down here. So I built it, so I've just left it there. If I need to sell it, I'll sell it, or if I need to sell that one, I'll sell it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to need more log wagons, and I'm going to need more of those. And when I'm perhaps done, I'll delete this one. But whatever. Yeah, so that's the situation there. The this was tricky because this is a hill. So I didn't want to snake around the side of the mesa, but maybe on reflection that might have been a slightly better idea. I thought coming up here might be a better idea, but it wasn't. So perhaps if you get this map seed, going this way might be slightly better, because you got to come up this hill. And then originally, as you can see, I did go across the top, but it didn't work. So I then had to snake around the side of the hill to get the right grade to come into the timber processing plant. So anyway, there you go. And it didn't cost actually nearly as much as I thought to do that. But maybe running along the mesa would have been a slightly smarter move, although it would take a little bit longer. But anyway, there you go. Castle Ferratu also has a little tiny little bus route to keep it going. Like I say, this has literally just started. So where are we with this? Like 6. So they've received 6, and this place hasn't received anything yet. I think this guy is the first train to carry stuff down, and as you can see, they're tiny. So I haven't by any means been able to expand these trains. It will be on my list of things to do, and obviously this bit is a natural bottleneck. It is what it is for now. Like I said, it isn't perfect, but I do know what I will need to fix it. But what I also will need to fix it is money. So you can see that he's dropping that off, but I don't believe there are any raw goods ready. No, there's no raw goods ready. So that's fine. So he'll just trundle off. So work in progress, work in progress, work in progress. I have been going through the vehicles and keeping these I've just bought and trying to keep them up to scratch. I had to borrow some money on occasion to make that happen, so they're all in okay order. Just so you are aware, when you do want to replace, or you do get a train that is in bad condition, you want to go to the editing section, you want to replace it. You don't need to replace all of the carriages, you just need to replace the locomotive. So I did that. We have a few locomotives available. We've been using the BR53. We've been using the Borsig. The other one is now no longer available. It is out of use now that we're in the age that we're at, and the Borsig will run out in another 13 years. We could buy some more locomotives. We could buy, the BR53. It has a higher traction power, double the traction power. It goes quicker. But it is also $728,000 to buy and $121,000 to run. So it's more than twice as expensive. And it doesn't get better from here. If we wanted to do the top of the line steam train, which travels at 60 kph, it's 1.61 million. The wagons haven't changed. The wagons won't change. This wagon carries on until 1950, and so does this one. So the wagons aren't going to change anytime soon. It's really the traction, and it's so costly. Don't feel like I'm making enough money to justify the cost and the maintenance, because that's the issue, is the cost of maintenance. So we do have those things available, which is grand. If we go down and have a look at road transport, nothing really much has changed. We got this little obéissant, I think l'obéissant, if my bad French comes out. But it was actually slower than the stagecoach, so we didn't use this. This is now faster and actually carries 2 more people, so that's fine. That's an improvement. I'm contemplating using this to make a couple of long distance routes and see how they function. So we'll start connecting towns, and we'll have a look at that in a minute, and I'll go through some of how I'm going to make decisions on that. And these haven't changed. We got this little wagon, 25 kph, steam powered wagon, but you know, as we went through with the previous map, I'm kind of loath to start anything with this. Could we, you know, could we? We'd have to connect this up. It's already connected. We could put a bypass in. We could try. We could send. We'd need to put a little cargo area in. That's one of these. As long as it's white, as long as this production unit is white, it still works. So I can take the cargo to there, you know, so they don't have to go all the way. They could stop there and bring wheat down here to the plant. And again, the actual cargo unit to the plant just has to be on the spur road, so they could drop off to there. It's not a long distance, and it might be worth trying out just to see. And we could then use the wagon to also cart stuff into town. You would have to put a cargo place where they need the bread. A new road through here. That would do it. So I think what you'd have to do is you'd have to put a new connecting road through here, and probably put the cargo there. So that's a lot, because 3 sevens is 200,000. So 250,000 plus. So call it 300,000. So it would be 300,000 to set up that route. Okay, we'll have a think about that. Bricks might be a little bit more expensive, and it takes a long while. Those wagons, what speed did they go at? Did it say 40 kph? Did I imagine that? I imagined that 25 kph. So it's still not exactly fast. What were we using? We were using this 20 kph. That only goes 5k faster. Ooh. we might do one as an experiment. It's an awfully expensive experiment, you say? Yeah, it might be, actually. Let me have a think about that. So, regards the other lines, I don't see anything forming yet. Obviously, industries go bust and reappear, so it changes the map a little bit from time to time. That log went away and came back again, which is fine. There's no fuel refinery actually on the map at the minute, so Nosferatu can't get fuel because there isn't any way to refuel it. I mean, I guess Caprezzo wants bread, but I'd be laying a heck of a line between Caprezzo and Calto to get bread to him. And there's nowhere to make bread nearby. If one crops up, that would be great, but there's nowhere to make bread nearby. And they want machines, and the machines are way over here. and we still can't make machines work because of timber. So we can't make machines work because currently the only place that makes timber is down here. So we'd have to run a heck of a long line all the way up here just to supply it with timber. That's not something desperately to be scared of, to be sure. In that the track line itself, it isn't super expensive. I mean, I say that. Pardon me. Yeah, it's still 300,000. So it's still you know, a more than $1 million line to get timber all the way up there. So that's it. So we're kind of oh no, there's the refinery over there. So yeah, we're kind of still a little bit hamstrung into how we do that without a lot more money. So that's what I'm kind of working on, making these lines function sufficiently enough to make us enough money. As you can see, we've been doing this a while. We have been doing this a while, and our costs and expenses, I suppose we've not, in most cases, if you have a look back there, except for obviously when I've purchased brand new train lines, you can see that our income has been exceeding our expenses. So there's generally more blue than there is red on that chart. You can see there that our value is now coming up, which is great. So the value of our business is going up. Our tracks, yeah, we've got a few tracks. I think is this tracks built, cost of tracks built, K's of tracks built. I don't know what the I don't know what the number is. Anyway, and the towns, yeah, we're trying. They're obviously escalating, but they go through these little periods of growth that we need to. You can see it happened in 1863. So we need to just keep up with increasing some needs and things. So we have I can't go back through time on this one, which is a bit of a shame. It only shows you the last 4 years, which is not very fair, to be honest. The investments is capital purchases, so that's trains that I've been purchasing and things like that. The railroad, it's consistently in the blue to the tune of, you know, so we're consistently over $1 million for the railroad. So the railroad is making us quite a sum of money, and the roads are doing okay as well. They are making us money. We're obviously covering the costs of maintaining those, which is fine. So we're profitable, and you can see that our loan is only at $4.5 million, and that's pretty good because we've been borrowing money. But when I get to $500,000, unless I've got a capital expense in mind, I sell that down or pay that down, because I want to keep this loan interest down. I don't want to keep paying loan interest. I would like to try and get rid of it as much as possible. So I'm managing that very carefully. But if I've got a big capital expense in mind, I bear that in mind. But I still pay it off, and then I just so I'm not paying the interest. Like I said, there's no point in keeping a loan balance if you don't need it. Pay it off, and then you can borrow it back again. That's fine, but you're sort of delaying having to pay that interest. At least that's what I think. I'm not a master of finance by any chance, but that's what I'm doing. So there we go. So that's where we're at after all of this lengthy chat. So key on my list of things to do is increase the amount of carriages on the little log train. So the little log train here. Train 5, I think we can go into the vehicle manager there. Train 5, we can edit this little vehicle. He's only got 3 at the minute. This is logs. If we were to say another 2. That takes him up. So we need to get the logs up here cranking, which is fine. So he's going to go off and do that. And then this little one, we're going to need to get finished goods. So there'll be a bit of a delay because there's not really much stored here at the minute. So we'll get the logs going until this starts to back up, and we start to get like a full platform full of stuff. And I need to continue balancing these guys and keep expanding them until they're also done, because these guys are still producing plenty. These plants still have, this one's doing pretty good, but the plants still have plenty of opportunity to get more and grow more, and we will do that and see how that goes. And I'll put in one little test road track over here and maybe run one long stagecoach between Caprezzo and Calto for people. Oh yeah, I was going to show you that, wasn't I? Let's take a break, do some stuff, and I'll bring you back and then I'll show you that. I'll see you soon. Right, welcome back. It is 1910. So a couple of little things have changed, probably not a whole heck of a lot. So we've got a new vehicle available, which is this kind of bus. So we've replaced the old wagons with now a more modern style bus. I need to go through and broaden these routes a little bit, because I don't think they're big enough. I think we need to capture a little bit more of the town, but they're not. Look, these are never going to be big earners. So this is rearranging the deck chairs, as it were. We put in a cross-country route with the same buses. So now that we've got buses that can go a little bit faster, I've put in a cross-country route between Calto and Caprezzo to see how that functions. And we've got 2 vehicles that are sort of crossing each other in the middle, as it were. Which is fine. I haven't really done anything to Calto food, and I haven't really done anything to Caprezzo bricks. That said, there was a little bit of an imbalance in that we were carting slightly more bricks than we were ore, so I had to change one of the train layouts, remove one of the bricks, replace it with an ore to try and balance that out. Seems to be fairly balanced out for now, but I want to talk about these cargo routes. Down here at Castle Ferratu, I've added in a second train for logs, because this is obviously primary resource heavy, and it wasn't really producing enough finished goods for me. So is this guy coming or going? He's going, and this is a work in progress. They're still not quite delivering enough logs for me. This train is carrying, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. And it's carrying like 5 or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So we need to make these bigger to supply this with sufficient logs to start really loading this cargo up as much as we can to make this line really, really go for it. Because at the minute, obviously down here, we're only producing 2. So we're not producing enough, but we knew that. It's a work in progress. It's always a work in progress with these lines, possibly. Which brings me to a couple of dilemmas. The first of which is, monetarily speaking, we're just not getting ahead. Like I said, there's more months where we make money than lose money, but we're not making huge amounts. It's not a vast difference, and you can see when we've had to purchase replacement trains over the years, that's the big spikes for expenses. So we're just keeping our head above water. We're not currently losing ground, but we're not currently gaining ground. And I guess the issue is our loan is back up to 5 million. And I wish I could show you this over a longer period of time, but you just can't for some strange reason. It doesn't look too bad in terms of sales, but the profits are just not there. The railroad, $4,000 profit in 1907, 370 in 1908, 150 in 1909. It's not enough. We need to be making way more than that, and I don't know how. I don't know what the limiting factor is. We're treading water. We're not going anywhere. We're treading water. I mean, I guess you might say that we added in this big line, But I think it's going to take another 50 years to just get these 3 lines to make money, even if that's possible. Why do I say even if that's possible? Because take a look at this. So our cheap train is gone. Our $300,000 train, which was what was it, 40,000, 50,000 a year to maintain, is gone. So when I bought the new train for the log route, I had to buy this more expensive train. Cost me a bit of money. It's also going to cost me a lot more maintenance. Now I don't know if the finished product price changes over time. This is one of the things that we can't look at. So I don't know if each line is going to make more money to offset the fact that there's going to be more maintenance cost. I'd like to think that it did, that, like, you know, every year, every 10 years, the price of raw product and good went up by, you know, 5% or whatever, but I don't know if the game developers thought about that. Or if it's just a flat, like, right across the board, across the centuries price. Because your vehicles get more expensive and your vehicle maintenance gets more expensive. Does that mean that your income gets better? I don't know. Anyway, the issue is that trains now, when they're due for replacement, are going to cost me more money, and over the course of the years, in terms of maintenance, they're going to cost me more money. So that's a bit of a problem. If we have a look at the lines while we're here, the cross-country bus line is kind of up and down. That's fine. The other buses are fine. These are all good. The Caprezzo logs and the Castelferrato tools aren't quite fully balanced yet. Occasionally they go into the blue, occasionally they go into the red. It's a cost, but we knew that, we know that, and that's, you know, like I said, it's a work in progress, so it's something we need to work on. Now, the issue that I have with the production stuff is, so these guys are still only at 30 out of 100. And this guy isn't going to progress, improve, or change until we get more product into it. And I wonder if this is the problem, and I wonder if we've fallen foul of the same kind of predicament that we had in the first one. And I wonder if there's a better way to do this in terms of, rather than do 2 lines, which really significantly splits our income and expenditure, what we should have done is focus exclusively on 1 line and get this production up past 100%. Into that area at the top. Maybe it's not 100%, although it looks like it is, so that we can advance this. Maybe that's what really maximizes your profit, is getting this guy really into 100%. And really making that happen. And because we didn't do that, that's why we're treading water. Is because this is making money, but just. This is making money, but just. This is yet to make money. Whereas if we had this at 100%, we might be like kicking it out of the park. And this might be, you know, $1 million a year clear profit. In which case, this is the engine that drives your economy, and then you do the second one to 100%, and that really kicks it out of the park, and that gives you the opportunity, because I can't believe that we've been at this for 60 years and we still haven't got enough income to really support the growth of 3 lines. It's not enough, which means I think we're missing something. And I think maybe this is the one thing we're missing. Now, the issue that I obviously have now is we're 60 years into this and we're too far gone to roll the clock back, I think. Or are we? I don't know. I might leave this to you guys. Do you think we need to roll this all back? Delete all these lines, delete all of this stuff, delete everything, recover as much money as we can, go back to just Calto and try and boost Calto up as much as we possibly can, or do we just carry on the way we are, doing things the way we are, etc., etc. Yeah, I don't know. What I might do is I want to run this for maybe another decade, get it into the 1920s, and see where we're at with that one. Um, and again, you know, this is the learning curve with games like this. Like I said, the campaign doesn't teach you this stuff, and it doesn't explain to you how this works. And there's a lot of things in here that you can't interrogate, which might provide you that information. But I have a feeling something's niggling at me that this is not right. It's not wrong per se. You know, we haven't done anything like fundamentally flawed. You know, we've developed a line, we've got a line making money. In terms of balancing, so one of the things probably to keep an eye on here is what it produces. So if you want to balance, obviously, you want to make sure, and maybe the logs line is slightly better, you want to make sure that what you're moving is appropriate. So I think for raw product, you kind of want to push as much raw product in as you can possibly afford. But what you want to do is you want to have a look at when production is back down at, you know, stopped. So in this case, it's not producing anything right now because it's run out of logs. So at the current log delivery rate, it's producing 14 timber. Now what that means is this train here, which is carrying the timber, this has capacity for 20, each of those wagons being 4. That's currently too much. That's imbalanced because this could carry more timber, but this is not producing the timber. Now we want to drive production, and I've just added some extra log wagons, so this might take a little bit of time to come through because the other log train is down here, but you can see that it's full. So you want to make sure that, I would say how you maintain this in the best possible way is you're always trying to maximize raw product to your first production. Depending on what you can afford, check what you're producing. Only build a train that's going to carry what you're producing. Increase the raw product until you have an excess here sufficient to support another carriage, and you know what that is because each carriage carries 4. So we need more logs to get this up to 20. So once this is at 20, that's status quo. We would then need this to be 24 before we need to even think about buying another timber. And then once you've got this loaded, take a look at this and say to yourself, well, how much is this producing? This is still only producing 2. Technically speaking, this train is an overloaded train because it can carry 4, but you can see there it's got 3. So that's fine. It's probably carrying an excess 2 wagons for timber currently, but I think we're okay for finished product. So it's a case of balancing that out. So that's what I've learned about how you balance out the lines. And obviously the other thing is you want to go back here and you want to have a look at, is the line making money? And look at it over a while. Don't just look at it as a snapshot, because as I've said, the way it calculates income and expenditure isn't ironed out. So sometimes you get peaks and troughs. So if you look at it at a trough and you go, shit, it's losing money, it might not be. Likewise, if you look at it when it's making money, it might spend more time losing money than making money. And then obviously you need to look at the overall balance here to say, well, overall, I may have a loss leading line on the road, but we're making money. So since I brought in the new buses and the cross-country routes, the roads have been making a bit more money, which is fine. I can iron those out, and maybe we can get up to 100,000. And that's nothing to sniff at, 100,000, you know? That's money. So hooray! But the rail lines, I mean, it's hard to know. You know, 2 million, but we only made 370,000. 1.8, you only made 150. We're just about, honestly, breaking even on the railroads. We're just not making enough money on the railroads. We're covering our costs, but barely, because obviously, as I've said, the issue is in terms of maintenance. We have got three trains that are due for replacement, and I'm going to have to replace them with the more expensive train, which is down here at the bottom, and that's going to double my maintenance costs. So we have a look at my maintenance costs. They're currently 1.5 million, and at best we're making 2 million, the maintenance costs in the vehicles alone is going to bankrupt us. So there's every possibility that once we replace those trains in the current situation, we're going to go bankrupt. So I'm going to run it for another 10 years, and we're going to see how we go. And then I think I'll call it here at the end of the 10 years, and I'll leave you guys hopefully to make a decision. Do we scrap the map, start again, or do we delete everything as much as we can and try and maximize production at Calto and see what that does? I mean, this is partially experimental for me. I don't know. I haven't figured out the mechanics yet, and I don't know if you have. And like I said, it's somewhat reminiscent of when I did Anno 1800, and a subscriber jumped on and said, and just laughed and said, "Oh man, I feel your pain. I remember going through this. Here's what you need to do." You know, and they gave me some tips and said, you know, the game doesn't tell you this, but what you need to do is you need to do this. So maybe you know that, maybe you don't know that. Anyway, enough chinwag. You know the situation. We'll carry on. I might tinker around with some of the bus routes for the next 10 years, and I'll try and to continue and balance out the logs and tools route to try and get it to make sufficient amount of money for me. But I have a feeling that we've reached something of a glass ceiling, and unfortunately expenses are rising to meet us, and we may end up completely sunk. Who can say? Right, well, welcome back. It's 1920. No, I mean, really, not a lot has changed. Not a lot has changed. Look, I added in a whole bunch of stops, like I said I was going to, and I've added in a new vehicle. So there's a new open top bus vehicle, which is fine. I haven't done anything with this other than replace the trains when I needed to, and really haven't done anything with Calto at all. Caprezzo the same. I added in an awful lot more stops for people. I really haven't done anything else with the bricks or anything like that. I think I doubled the amount of vehicles on the road, and we got a new type of vehicle in, which is this Gaggenau bus, which is fine. It goes a lot faster, carries the same amount of people but goes a lot faster. So well, it loads a bit slower. No, it loads a bit faster. So loads a bit faster, is a bit faster, etc., etc. So that's fine. We'll have a look at the lines in a minute. This I've been working on balancing a little bit. We're kind of getting there. You can see that we're sort of just picking up enough. I've been adding in trains to carry logs. You can see some of them are quite long here, so it's carrying a lot of logs. Where's my other log wagon? That's a log wagon. So that one's carrying 6. I think that one's carrying, is it 8 or 9? Where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 14 log wagons frequently dropping off there, and we are currently at 26 out of 200. It's so hard. It's so hard. The density of materials that you must have to supply. This is just producing enough, and the little train, which is here, is now carrying 7 timber from here, and we still only need 2 boxcars to fill what's produced. I think realistically speaking, this needs 2 trains to kind of make an awful lot of money. Castle Ferrato, I haven't. There's just not enough. There's just not enough people to warrant having the bus system upgraded in any way, shape, or form. So there we are. Finances wise, so the long distance bus is now making 103, which is, that's not too bad. Calto bus is making 23. The trains are still okay. Caprezzo logs is up and down.
and Castelferrato Tools is up and down, and that's just because I just can't get the tools construction and supply sorted out. And we have here the costs associated with the vehicles. Caldo Food's getting a little bit old. Caprezzo Logs are just not making enough money compared to what it costs to maintain it. This is all just stuff. The towns, Calto emissions are not looking particularly great. And the industries, you can see here that we got, from the Caprezzo sawmill, we're transporting just about as much as we can from that sawmill, to be fair. We're not doing the quarry, so I don't know why it's showing at 40% Caprezzo quarry. Oh no, that's the bricks. So yeah, 40%. Not doing that one, Caprezzo Forest number 2. 91 for the materials plant making bricks. The food processing plant is at 100%. So we're doing sort of a lot. Finances wise, if you have a look back, I mean, it's the same old story, really. You can see that the maintenance costs have significantly increased because of the newer vehicles. So that sort of answers my question, which is the cost of products does not go up. The cost of vehicles does. So the pressure is to improve profitability because your costs are going to increase. So I think we're sort of now on a slippery slope to demise, because I don't see how we're going to fix this problem. You can see there that my bank balance doesn't really change. That said, I have to buy things, so the value is going up because the value of what I own is more. So my bank balance is hovering around. I don't have a surplus. What surplus I have, I'm trading back in, which is fine. Tracks town growth, etc. 300,000. That's sort of where we're going. Vehicles obviously being a large expense on that. So the total profit is 186 from the road side of things. That's not bad, just from trucks and buses and stuff. The railroad side of things has been up and down. I think we ran into a loss there just because of the purchases. You can see that those 676,000 in 1917, the 668,000 in 1919 is entirely new locomotives, the more expensive ones. So you can see that the cost of maintenance shot up in 1918, and it's probably going to shoot up in 1920. Track maintenance seems to be a bit variable, and maintenance for infrastructure, which I believe is the cargo stations, should be pretty standard. It's probably just the way the years are calculated. And we've still got a loan of 5 million that just cannot pay off. I mean, that's not too bad, considering how much I'm spending. I'm just staying on top of expenditure, is probably how I would put it. So there we are, 1920. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think? What are you thinking? What is your thinking? Do you think there's a way out of this hole? I'm not sure there is. It's 1920. I'm pretty certain that it's been 70 years, and I think if I go another 70 years, nothing's going to change except how much it costs me. Could I open another line and make it profitable? I haven't even made Castelferrato Tools profitable yet, and it's been open for like 20 years, more than 20 years. So I'm still struggling to make that one profitable while paying off everything and upgrading all the vehicles that I currently own. So I don't think trying to figure out how to make another line work is necessarily going to make me more money. Yeah, we've had these discussions. Honestly, I don't know the answers. Anyway, I hope that you have been enjoying this strange little journey that I am on, and And if you have been, even if you think that I'm making dreadful mistakes along the way, do please click the like button. It really helps me to decide whether I need to keep doing this or not. Do subscribe to the channel. It's always good to have new subscribers. It's just fantastic support for the channel in general. And of course, with things like this, please feel free to comment. Ask questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question. You might ask a question that makes me think about something in a different way. It may change my opinion of some particular thing. You may have an answer to something I do not. I am not the font of all knowledge. I am prepared to admit that. I do occasionally make mistakes. That is also true. Do feel free to comment. And I will see you all again real soon. Ta-ta for now.
PlayStation